He had to change his training to less volume to progress as a professional to the top placings in the Mr. Olympia. He had to go even lower in volume. Yes, it takes a radical way of thinking, but most bodybuilders are radical. So look. Hi, I'm John Hart. Welcome back to Mr. America Hart. All right, so there's a couple of principles when it comes to your training that we need to talk about here. I know that a bunch of you guys like to go to the gym and just blast. I know that you like to design your workouts, based off of usually somebody who looks just great. Somebody who you think, I'd like to look like that someday. And you go and you copy their workouts. I'm not talking about you going and designing a workout that way. I'm talking about you designing a workout based on what's best for you. What's best for you. And the considerations you need to take in designing that workout. Simple, straightforward. This won't be a long run here, so follow me quick, kids. Two big factors involved. Volume, which is the amount of work you do, and frequency, how often you work out. And I'll handle the frequency in another video. I'll put a link down below for that one. But in the meanwhile, the volume of your workouts. This is so very, very important. Wherever you're at in your training, and I talk about this often. You can tell I get frustrated in one big factor here is the moment we talk about natural versus enhanced or drug using, PEDs. It's funny about the sport of bodybuilding, or just when it comes to in the gym, not even competitive bodybuilding, you have naturals and you have drug users, who use muscle growth enhancing drugs. So it skews all of the factors. However, we're going to speak in terms of wherever you are at, you watching this right now, whether you're natural or whether you're not. This is important. It won't matter over time. It won't matter. The ability for you to work out today, however it is, however much volume you're doing, however much volume you do today is not going to be the same that you're going to be able to handle tomorrow or in the future. Down the line, that is. And that is because as you get bigger, you grow more muscle, as you get stronger and can lift bigger weights, and as you have a better neuromuscular connection, your ability to contract muscles really hard, that gets better as you get older from your brain connecting with your muscles. Okay? As those things come into play over time, you're not going to be able to do the same amount of work that you did when you were weaker and you had smaller muscles and you had a weaker brain, mind to muscle connection. Simple as that. So over time, my own workouts have changed from being able to work out. I did work out at one point in time. I threw in cycles of 4 times a week, much like Dorian Yates, Mr. Olympia, 6-time Mr. Olympia from 1992 to 1997. Those workouts that he did, I thought that they were spectacular. I thought they were fun. I recovered from them. I grew from them. They were fun. And then they weren't so much fun because I wasn't recovering from them. I wasn't growing from them. So I had to make changes. And anybody who's followed my channel, you know that I've been a Mike Mentzer, subscriber to his way of training, low volume, high intensity training. And in some ways, I've written my own books on it. You can check it out. One of the most popular ones, Physique 101. Down below, I'll put a link for that one as well, where I go into program design as well as diet, the whole thing, competition, everything I've done. Every question I thought to answer is in that book. And the link's down below. You can download it or get a hard copy on Amazon. It's right down there. Now, following high-intensity principles, though, I even found over the years that whereas I could train 4 days a week years ago and compete, later on, as I got bigger, as I got stronger, better mind-muscle connection, I could only tolerate 3 days a week. I wasn't able to recover from my own workouts. Combine that with getting older, which we all are doing. Keep that in mind. We are all getting older. So, keeping that in mind, changes happen on top of that. So it's not just because you're getting older. There's a combination factor involved. If you've been training consistently over the decades, you're relatively injury-free. Okay? See my friend Mike O'Hearn, for example. Mike O'Hearn, injury-free over the years. His training has changed, you know. But I can't go down that road too much because it really hasn't, you know, I know that he likes to use some good volume. But proving my point a little bit better is more looking at people like myself or looking at people like Mike Mentzer. This is a man who taught me about working out in the beginning. He was a friend of mine as well. And he trained me, but I also helped him with his business later on after he passed. And, well, not him, but Joanne, the girl who inherited all of his business. And this is the wisdom of Mike Mentzer. In this book right here, Mike detailed in this book the way that his own training evolved from when he was a top national competitor and then eventually won national titles, training high-intensity style training, 3 days a week, full body training. And yes, in the beginning, when he first worked out, he did traditional training to build his initial foundation, but it wasn't enough to win a national title. And then eventually he switched to high-intensity training, won national titles, won world titles, went ahead and became a top professional, and then top competitor in the Mr. Olympia. Mike shows in this book, and I'll put a link down below for the wisdom of Mike Mentzer, he shows in that book how his training changed from higher volume, even 3 days a week, full body workouts. He made great progress on. But he acknowledged, he even wrote about it in that book, how his workouts had to change for him to make more progress. That's the point of this video. Your workouts are going to have to change to make more progress. And they're not going to change by doing more. That's not the answer. It's physiologically impossible, whether you're off drugs or on drugs, natural or not natural. Okay? It's just not, there's no blanket statement. Oh, you're using drugs, you can do anything you want to do and do as much of it as you want to. No. That's not never ending. Double negative right there. That's not never ending. It does end at some point. You hit a wall and you have to adjust your training. Mike wasn't a natural bodybuilder. He couldn't train the same way over time. To progress at the national level, to progress as a professional, he had to change his training to less volume. To progress as a professional to the top placings in the Mr. Olympia, he had to go even lower in volume. Yes, it takes a radical way of thinking, but most bodybuilders are radical. So look, take a shot, take a chance with it. Don't just get stuck in your old way of thinking. It's not necessary. And don't make the gym your social atmosphere. This is where you get your work done. Okay? If you have goals and you want to progress, you want the progress to continue, then go ahead and make these adjustments along the way. Download my book. Get a hold of the wisdom of Mike Mentzer. Have a greater understanding this book as well, High Intensity Training the Mike Mentzer Way. I'll put a link down below for this one. He discusses at the beginning of this book 7 principles that you must understand. One of them is volume. One of them is frequency. 7 principles that if you apply them in your training, you'll have greater progress over time as you get bigger and stronger and decades pass. And it doesn't have to stop in your 20s or your 30s. So that's it for today. From my heart to you, John Hart, thank you for stopping on by. And before you leave, please, off to my left, you're going to see that disc pop up. That is the subscribe button for my channel. Please give that thing a tap to let YouTube know that you like my videos. Down below, you're going to see a thumbs up right there. Why don't you go ahead and give that thing a tap. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up right there. It lets the YouTube algorithm know how much you're loving my videos, and I really appreciate it as well. I will see you soon.